everyone, Steph here from thegoodrad.com. We are here checking out the new AirHeart from Jones. This one got a few new updates for the 2023 season. Here's a look at it here. This is called the AirHeart 2.0. We are looking at the 146. So what happened this year is it has a slightly different shape. So a little bit different in the nose, a little bit different in the tail, a little bit of that blunt kind of cut off nose look and tail. Now it's basically a full camber board. We'll get a picture on the table, but contact points are like well outside of the bindings and it does feel locked in on snow. It has a pretty stiff flex. And then to lighten it up, there's this section up here that is kind of cool. I'll show it on the video, but it's like a see-through section with a ghosted Jones logo in the middle there. The AirHeart also has a slight serrated edge. It's super mellow, but just a little bit extra for those icy conditions. And here's a look at the base for you. It's a sintered base. So it does behave slightly different than the older AirHeart. I feel like the older AirHeart was slightly quicker to turn, but it was a little bit softer too. So the slightly stiffer flex and the added camber definitely adds a lot of performance to the new AirHeart. I got this in the springtime here at Mammoth. You know, I did get a little bit of some real snow in the beginning, and then now it's like full-on spring conditions, which is good because I get to test it on some ice, and then steeps, top to bottom, off-piste, on-piste, stuff like that. If we talk about steeps, I liked the AirHeart on our groomed steep runs. It held very well, it was very stable. It has a great edge hold on ice. Like I was out there the other day and our spring snow never thawed out. The wind was cold enough that it just stayed icy basically everywhere. And I had no problem on this. I was trying to push it to get it to slip out, and it just held its edge. The mix of the positive camber profile with the added edge hold and the stiffer flex, I feel like this is a really good ice board on the Jones line. It holds that edge really well in icy conditions. But I feel like it's a little bit medium fast to turn. So on the steeps, you know, it felt good. It was super stable, but definitely not for the beginner in the steep terrain. More for a little bit more that aggressive rider, that wants to tell the board what to do. So it felt good as far as edge hold up there was awesome. But for me, it seemed to like a little bit more of that bigger turn radius, like a medium to large radius turn, and not like a super turny small radius turn. So I liked it on the groomers up on the steeps, and it turned okay through off-piste and like chundery stuff. It'll definitely kind of float over some off-piste crud, but it wasn't my favorite for turning through moguls and stuff. It just, because it likes that wider radius turn, I felt like for me, I couldn't turn it as quick as maybe I wanted it to. It was a little bit more locked in, so it prefers less skidded turns and more carved turns. So off-piste and in trees, it does okay. It is, you know, semi-directional. It has a little bit of that directional free ride shape, but I feel like I enjoyed this more in the groomers than I did off-piste and in softer snow. It does have the directional shape. You will get a little bit of that directional float, but because of the positive camber profile, I don't imagine it to float very well in powder. This is more for the harder packed snow days. But that brings us down to the groomers. Really, really fun to rip around on groomers on this board. It's really fun to carve. You get a ton of performance from it. It is super stable. The positive camber locks into the turns and you get a lot of energy out of the turns. Really fun to carve, and again, it likes more that medium to large radius turn. It's not really that quick turner. It likes to kind of draw them out a little bit. Riding switch isn't bad, but it is directional and you can tell slightly, but you can do it. It's not gonna not let you ride switch, but it definitely prefers to be going this direction. So then we bring it down into some freestyle terrain. I don't feel like the AirHeart likes the freestyle terrain too much. It's not really what it's made for. You could definitely take it off some natural drops because it's super stable. As long as it's not too deep of snow, it should be fine. If it's too deep, the nose might go under. The new AirHeart 2.0 I feel like would be good for an advanced to expert rider. It might be a little bit of a technical board for an intermediate rider, but it's not super mean, so you could probably figure it out. If you want a super stable board that likes to ride fast, that can carve really well, that has a great edge hold on ice, I feel like the AirHeart is right in that kind of zone. If you're someone who doesn't really ride switch a lot, is not looking for playful, but wants more of that speed and stability and dampness, then maybe check out the AirHeart from Jones. If you're looking for the full review, head over to thegoodride.com for the full write-up.